Good morning, all my chicken people. It's a beautiful day here in Kansas. Welcome to 5 Acre Farms. I'm Luke. We got another little Temu build project for you. Hopefully that you guys find this interesting. These Temu product reviews, Amazon product reviews, any type of product review. If there's a product you guys want to see me review, build, put together, use and abuse here on the chicken farm, comment down below. Or we have a P.O. box now, P.O. box number 5, Pratt, Kansas 67124. Send us a product you want us to review, and if it's worth it, I'll make a video of it. But today's product is a brooder. So a lot of you guys are getting into chicks, and which is awesome because you can start them young, you can get them cheaper, but there's a lot of safe and unsafe ways to brood chickens. And this is a brooder that Temu sells, and we're going to put it together and see if it's actually worth the money. I'll pull up on my phone here after a little bit and show you how much it costs and which one I chose, but I think it was the cheapest on Temu at the time. Let's go into our brooder room here. If you haven't seen our videos or our brooder room, this is where we brood our chickens. Obviously this isn't the setup for everybody, but this is how we do it. And we have a bunch of videos on stuff we do in here, but let's go make sure all these chicks are doing good this morning, and we'll probably take some of these chicks out of our brooders and put them into this new brooder and see how they hold up. So let's check out how the chicks are doing inside. I've turned most of the heat lamps off in here because it's staying about 87 degrees. I got the exhaust fan going, so you're probably hearing that. But we got a bunch of sex links in here. Just moved quail outside. We got a couple yellow golden pheasants, a bunch of button quail and Caturnix quail, a few ducks and geese, Polish and Seramas, French black copper Morans, lots of silkies and millefleurs, and a few Indio Agantes, a few olive eggers, lavender Americanas, blue partridge Brahmas, light Brahmas. But yeah, so these are our brooders. We have a video on how we built these brooders, and they've worked awesome for us. Obviously they're huge. If you're only going to brood 5-10 chicks every year, you obviously don't need something this big, but we have what we think is the solution to a small chick brooder, and we're going to put it together for you and test it out. So let's start building. So we're back on our handy dandy workbench here, and we're going to put together this brooder that's in this box. Just going to show you here which one I have. Currently it says it's $45. I paid $56, so it's cheaper now than what it was a couple weeks ago. So like I said, straight from China, and this box really really shows. It's been taped and retaped, and the bottom's blown out. I'm curious if all the parts are even here, but I did kind of crack the top open just to make sure it was the brooder. So let's finish opening up this real quick, start putting it together. I want to give you guys a full, a good review, not just a cheap or a crappy review here, because like I said, a lot of you guys are new into chickens, so you're always looking for something cheap and affordable, but yet good. And those of you that are gonna only raise a handful of chicks every year to replace some of your older hens, or some hens died over the year, you're just gonna get 4 or 5 new pullets every year, I think this is a good option. Hopefully it's not smaller than I anticipate, but comes with a ceramic heat lamp or ceramic heat bulb. This is a 75 watt, which isn't super hot, but it'll probably work just fine. I've used these in the past, and they do work. So let's see what else is, see how this is boxed. Comes in bubble wrap, not that it saved it. I don't know what kind of wood this is. It's not sealed or anything, it's just straight wood. The edges look like they're hand sanded. Does have the router grooves for, I'm guessing, the front glass. It's all notched together. Cheap wood, but it's cheap, so I expect it to be built cheap. I'm guessing these are the front sliding doors with white plastic over the front. The two side pieces. The top piece. Everything looks to be pre-drilled. Probably glued and stapled. Hopefully y'all can see that all right. It really doesn't look like it's been beat up too bad for taking a week and a half to get here. As thin and cheap as this is, I would expect it to not be in great shape upon arrival. Alright. So let me comes with a different heat bulb. Two different heat bulbs. Or maybe this is just a light and the other one's heat. 50 watt. I've seen these as heat bulbs. It comes with instructions, so let me not get my chicken before the egg or whatever the chicken phrases are. So I'm assuming one's light and one's heat. I'm gonna knock myself out here. Comes with the, which is nice, these are ceramic outlets, which I like to use ceramic, not plastic. Comes with a plug-in that has two switches, so I'm assuming one for light and one for heat. But that's actually pretty nice. I'm not sure this cable would be good if you're gonna use anything but the bulbs it recommends. I would not run a 250 watt bulb or a 150 watt bulb on that small of a cable. But that small of a space, this box is way too small to be running that big of a heat lamp. So those 50 watt and 75 watt bulbs should be good. But it does come with all the screws, little handles. Let me move you guys here so maybe you can see me better. The lighting's not that great. We're not a 5-star production company. Anyway, there's a little screwdriver in there. I'm going to use my drill, but instructions are in English, which isn't always the case. I'm not sure which side to start on. I guess installation instructions. So it does have detailed instructions in English, so pretty good instructions it looks like. Backside. Alright, I'm going to put you guys in a time lapse and you guys can watch me assemble this, and then I'll tell you how it went. And then we're gonna, based off of kind of the looks of this bottom board, this is probably good for about like 5 chicks, 10 at most, because you got to put a water and a feeder still in there. So a small water and a really small feeder. I'm gonna have to see if I have a small enough feeder for something like this. But yeah, it's I would say 5. Let's put it together here. Well, I think it took me about 15 minutes. The instructions weren't bad, but it went together pretty well for the most part. I'm pretty sure I did it right. It gives you like 5 extra screws, but the only downside I had, so I probably rate this like an 8 out of 10 for ease of assembly. It comes with 2 different kinds of screws, and it doesn't tell you which ones to use for the ceramic heat lamps and the sides, so you kind of gotta figure that out. The smaller screws go for the heat lamps, the longer screws go for the wood. The other gripe is on this top plexiglass. It comes with that little filament paper on it, and they build the window with the filament paper on, so when you pull it off, the edges of it sometimes get stuck. So let me show you here. So when you're pulling this filament paper off, it starts tearing right along the edge because it's stuck back in there. So if you put this plexiglass has flex to it, so if you push down while you're ripping that filament paper off, it gives it more of a gap and it comes off a lot easier. But other than that, the 2 tops come open, and then you have yourself a heat lamp on one side, a light on the other, little sliding doors. This little plexiglass here keeps all the wood shavings from coming out. There's little sliders on both sides. This top board keeps that plexiglass in there, but the thing is pretty small. I would say it's good for just a couple chicks. We're gonna have to figure out a feeder option and a water option that'll fit in there. But I'm gonna test it out. I'm gonna go set it up, and let's see what it looks like with 5 chicks or 5 quail, and see if it's something that will work for you guys. It does have vented sides, so heat can come out. I like that it's completely contained, so if you are raising like some quail or something and they get big enough, you can close them in, they don't fly out. And again, the cord here on the back, you can adjust which lights you want on and off. But let's go get it set up and put some birds in it. Well, we got it set up. I tucked the water back in the corner. I like to put little pieces of plywood in all my brooders so that wood shavings don't get kicked up into the water, because if a wood shaving gets into the wood water and hangs out, it'll act like a wick, and it'll just keep pulling the water out, and you'll fill all your wood chips with water and make them all wet. It's a mess. So I always put the water up on wood chips. They make these, I just used a bottom of a feeder for now, but they make like small versions of these that are only like 4 or 5. I think that's what I need for a feeder in here. Next time I run to town, I'll probably have to get one of those. That's what I would suggest for a feeder, is one of those style, like trough style, but one of the small ones. Since you're only putting a couple chicks in here, I think that's going to be the ticket. I went ahead and took out the 75 watt infrared bulb because this little 50 watt puts off a lot of heat. So if it's colder in your room or office, then yeah, that'd probably be the way to go. But if I had both of those running, it'd be way too hot in here. This room itself is 87 degrees right now, so I probably won't even turn on this little 50 watt light, or I'll turn it off once I get chicks in there. But let's go ahead and put some, I got these little sex link chicks. They're only 3 days old, so let's catch some of them and put them in there and see how it looks with 5 young chicks. Well, we got 5 little red sex link pullets in there. Let's see how they fill it up. So obviously they're just gonna chill out there, but I think that's enough. I wouldn't go a whole lot bigger than 5 chicks, and you're only gonna be able to keep them in here for really a couple weeks at most. they're going to fill that space up pretty quick. But I think it's going to work out perfect for 5 chicks. If you're only going to raise 5 chicks every couple years or every year, I think that's the way to do it. Let me grab some Paternix quail and put some quail in here and see how I think it'd be good for like 10 quail. Well, there's 10 1-week-old Paternix quail. So if you're gonna, I think they're probably good in here for 1 more week before they're gonna be too big. That's with 10 of them, so plenty of room for them to run around at 1 week old. So let's pull these guys out and see what it looks like with 10 or 20 button quail. So those are even smaller. I think this might just be the perfect brooder for little button quail. These are 1 week old button quail. There's 20 in here. They still have plenty of space to get around. And I think you could really get in and out of this door if you needed to without them jumping out for the first week or so. But I think that's a sweet little setup if you're going to have 10 to 20 little button quail or even Paternix quail. I wouldn't do a whole lot more than about 5 chicks, like chicken chicks. I definitely wouldn't do any ducks or geese in here. They'll outgrow it so fast, and this wood is so porous. Any moisture is going to soak right into that wood. So, well, guys, I think it's going to wrap up this video. I hope this gives you an idea of kind of the size. This $45 Temu brooder. It'd be perfect for like your little desk or your kitchen table in your house, or an end table in your house where kids can see in. Easy to get in and out, easy to clean. But like I said, it's going to be perfect for a couple chicks. Not a whole lot more than that. I think I'm going to leave the button quail in here for now. I'm going to turn this little light off there so they don't get too hot. And I'll probably run to town and change out that feeder to something more button quail friendly, even though I know they can jump up in there and get that. But that's all I have for today's video. We have a quail incubator over here. I need to candle those tonight and put them into lockdown. But we got a full review on this little incubator here, and we're going to be giving it away. So keep an eye out for that video. We're going to do the review and give it to one of you guys watching. I'm probably not going to give away the brooder because I don't want to take it apart and try to fit it back into a box. If I feel like I'm never going to use it, then I might just break it back down and send it to one of you guys. But if you're only going to use it once a year, all these screws and everything are pre-drilled holes, so you can pull the screws out, collapse it back down, put it back in the box, and store it when you're not using it. So that is a route, but I think it's a sharp little brooder for 45 bucks. Comes with all the heat lamps. I wish it would come with a feeder and water, but it'd be a little harder to box up into something so flat if it came with a feeder and water. But there you have it. Temu's cheapest brooder, chick brooder. It'd be great for a snake or a lizard or something. But that's all I have for today's video. You know the deal. We love you guys. Don't haggle with your egg supplier. Buy your chicks local. And we'll see you guys on the next one.